Sorry, Charles Darwin, the man who changed our view of life in the quiet English town of Shrewsbury on February 12, 1809. A boy was born who would revolutionize humanity's understanding of its place in nature. Charles Robert Darwin, the fifth of 6 children, came from a thoughtful family. His grandfather, Erasmus Darwin, was a respected physician and poet who wrote about ideas related to evolution long before Charles was born. The young Darwin showed an early interest in nature. Although he wasn't a distinguished student in the traditional sense, he was passionate about collecting beetles, observing animals, and exploring the natural world. His father hoped Charles would become a doctor like himself, so Darwin was sent to study medicine at the University of Edinburgh. However, Charles found surgery exhausting and the lectures boring. He eventually moved to Cambridge to study theology, thinking he might become a clergyman. But his true passion remained nature. The voyage that changed everything. In 1831, a golden opportunity presented itself. On the recommendation of a university professor, Darwin was invited to join a 5-year voyage aboard HMS Beagle, a British survey ship. This voyage proved to be the defining moment of his life. The Beagle's mission was to map the coastlines of South America, but Darwin's personal mission was to observe, collect, and record all aspects of the natural world. He was fascinated by the diversity of life he encountered: tortoises in the Galápagos Islands, giant fossils in Argentina, and rare species of birds, plants, and insects around the world. While in the Galápagos Islands, Darwin noticed that finches on different islands had different beak shapes. These differences seemed to be related to the types of food available on each island. He began to wonder, could these differences have evolved over time, influenced by the birds' environments? Birth of a theory. After returning to England in 1836, Darwin spent years organizing his observations, studying his specimens, and reflecting deeply. A pivotal idea began to take shape in his mind. Species are not fixed, they evolve. He proposed that aurora, natural selection, is the process by which evolution occurs. In this process, organisms produce more offspring than can survive. Differences exist among individuals. Those with traits better suited to their environment are more likely to survive and reproduce. Over time, these beneficial traits become more common in the population. Darwin was aware that his ideas were controversial. In a society where most people believed that all species were created exactly the same by God, the idea that life was subject to change and that humans shared a common ancestor with animals was radical. So he waited. For more than 20 years, he quietly conducted research, experiments, and wrote. He corresponded with other scientists and refined his theory. Then, in 1858, Darwin received a letter from another naturalist, Alfred Russel Wallace, who had independently developed a similar theory of evolution. To avoid any preemption, Darwin and Wallace jointly presented their findings to the Linnean Society in London. Theory on the origin of species. The following year, in 1859, Darwin published his groundbreaking book, On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection. The book was a bestseller and generated considerable controversy and debate. Although Darwin did not directly address the origin of humans in this first book, its implications were clear. Humans, too, are part of the tree of life, not separate from it. In later works, including The Descent of Man, 1871, Darwin addressed human evolution, arguing that we share a common ancestor with apes. This claim drew strong criticism from religious institutions and even some of his fellow scientists. Legacy and influence. Despite negative reactions, Darwin's ideas gained momentum over time. Scientists found more evidence supporting evolution in the fossil record, genetics, and comparative anatomy. Today, evolution by natural selection is a fundamental principle of biology. Darwin continued writing and researching until his death in 1882. He was buried in Westminster Abbey near Sir Isaac Newton, a fitting tribute for a man who transformed our understanding of the natural world. Why Darwin matters. Charles Darwin not only presented a new theory, but he challenged the way humans viewed themselves. His theory of evolution united all life on Earth into a single family tree. It provided a powerful explanation for the astonishing diversity of life, and did so without resorting to supernatural forces, relying instead on observation, logic, and scientific inquiry. To this day, Darwin's ideas continue to influence everything from medicine